Welcome to 3-week workshop on programming in C++. In this video, I am going to explain the general programming strategies for writing a program. So we know that, so that means always we don't know that if you want to solve any program with the help of computer, we need to follow some kind of a strategy. So basically, there are three possible strategies we have. One is called sequence structure. Second one is branching or selection structure. Or third one is called looping or iteration structure. Means that if you have any algorithm, so you must to means if you have some algorithm you have, if you want to implement an algorithm in a programming language, so we have to go with either sequence structure or branching or looping. But the selection of the structure, it depends on the programming. So we can't use only the same structure for all kind of a programming language. The first and foremost and basic structure is called structure, means the sequence structure. Normally, the sequence structure will not applicable for all kind of a solution. So normally, it is preferred to use only for that application which is contains only the expression. For example, if I have some calculation part, for example, I want to find sum of an natural number. So the formula is n into n plus 1 by 2. So if you want to implement this, so we can, this kind of an expression if you have as a logic of our problem, just we are going to use it. Means we are going to cursor it. Means we can prefer to go with sequence structure. So for example, just I'm going to define NNC. Just compile. Errors. I'm going to run this. So sorry, I didn't assign the value for n, because if you want to write any program, first input, then followed with the logic, and output is very, very important. So here for this problem, only one input. Only one input. So input is over. Then this is a logical part, and this is this is for an output part. So that if you want to write any program, this statement you need to follow. First, you need to identify how many number of inputs needed, and you need to identify, then followed by the logical part, then followed by the output statement. In some cases, the output statement and the logical part may be combined. Okay. Now we can say this is sequence structure. First of all, why this is called a sequence structure? Just we can execute with the help of tracing a program. Just to see that the executions. The scene, it asks some value. So here, all the statements in the program are executed one by one without skip anything, and each and every action, that is with every statement, is executed only once. This is called a sequence structure. So if you are saying the structure is a sequence, the each and every statement is program executed from top to bottom without skipping any statement, and each and every statement is executed only once, then it is called as a sequence structure. So normally we will not, for all application we are unable to follow this sequence structure, but normal execution is top to bottom. But if some cases we are unable to follow the sequence structure, so then we are preferred to go with the second structure, that is called branching or selection structure. So in some cases, we are expecting to execute only the few statements for only one time, and we need to skip the sum of the statement, then we go for a branching statement. For example, so there are some different type of statements we have. Just I can explain why. So selection for the suitable cases for the selection. Let us assume that you are applied for a counseling. So you know that in our Tamil Nadu they are following the counseling pattern that. So just if you are applied for the counseling, you are eligible to opt only one department. Even though there is a n number of departments are listed out there, you are able to select only one department. So once if you are selected one department, the other departments are not executed. So that is called as a selection. So only one branching, we call the branch, that is called different branches we have in a tree. So if you are moving on to one leaf, then the other leaves you are not possible to use other branches also, branches of a tree. So like that, only one particular branch is executed, and the remaining part of the executions is not allowed. So, that means normally for a branching, we need to use conditional statement. So for condition, we have to use relational and logical operators. For example, So there are different type of branching statements we have. Let us go with I want to generate a one application for voters. So I want to check it whether I am eligible for vote or not. So I'm going to read my age as a input. So normally we are expecting only two kind of output. One is not eligible. Another one is eligible. So these are the any one of the possibility we are expecting. So, but we are print. There is a statement we need to print. So, what is a print statement for a display? That is called cout. Same way, this is the print statement will execute. This is eligible. Okay, just for that the input is age. I'm going to enter the age. I'm going to read age. Okay, now I'm going to run it. I know you know that the program is not given a correct answer. For example, I'm going to enter my age at 34. It will display both eligible and not eligible. But we are expected that we need to select, we need to display any one of the statement. Means we need to execute any one of the statement, either eligible or not eligible. And we are expected that we need to execute, we need to use it for only one time. So if you want to execute those statement only one time, we should go for a branching. Okay, so here just you can check how many possible cases you have. One is eligible, that is eligible is a one case, and not eligible is the another branch. So there are two possible cases we have, so that we can go over if else. There are two possible actions. There are two possible actions we have, so that we can go with if else structure. Normally, if you go for if else syntax is give condition. If the condition is true, then what is the equivalent action for that? And else, what is the equivalent action? Always for else, no need to write a condition. Clear? Okay. Many of them trying to write a condition for else, but you should not write a condition for else. Always you have to write a condition only for if. If there is a word if, then you must to write a condition. Otherwise, you should not write a condition. Okay. So here, this is the statement. So I want to display, this is called actions. Clear? So any one of the action must be divided so that it must be a branch. So you have to group it. Here, so I'm going to group in. So this is a one case and this is another case. Here there are two possible cases, so that I possible to go with if. Another one is else. Clear? Okay, so now you have to decide it. What is the condition you want to write? So here you have decided that your two parties not eligible. So you have to write the condition for not eligible. Clear? So the not eligible is age is less than 18. Then you are not eligible for a condition. So I told that always the condition are expressed by using relational and as well as logical operator. Here we have only one condition, so that there is no need for logical operators on this case. So the else is working. So now compile, no errors, and run the program. So I'm going to enter my age is 30. It is print as eligible. So first of all, you should know how the loop branching statement will execute. But for that, just you can go with the tracing your program. Always we know that our execution must start with a single entry point, that is called void main. So then clear screen, clear your previous content. It print means enter the age. It read the value. For example, my age is 30. So now if you test the condition, the value of age is 30, 30 less than 18. The condition is false. If the condition false, it goes to the else block. If the condition is true, it goes for if block. Now the condition is false. Automatically, the statement which is inside of the else block starts to execute. Here I have only one action, so it will execute. It will be executed. Then once the else block is over, then it's go to the next line. So next line is get ch. So it come out with the get ch. It was as eligible. In case, I am going to execute for the if case. I am going to do it for a not eligible. So I am going to enter as 4. So F7. So if the condition is true, so that if block is executed, you know that if the if block is executed, then other branches will not be executed. Here you have only exactly two branches. One branch is executed, so that other branch will not execute. So it will execute if after it is over, then automatically come to the next line. It means out of the loop. Out of the branching statement and be printed as not eligible. Yeah, okay. But you are thinking that why I want to write a law not eligible here? I want to write the out statement as eligible here, and I want to change as not eligible. It is a your perception. So if you want to define eligible for a condition, then you have to change the condition. That's all. Greater than or equal to. That is the worst thing. So you have to decide what's the type of condition you want to go. Clear? So even if, for example, I'm going to say that even if you want any number of action, if you want, you can define. So here the number of action is only one single action, so that the curly brace is optional. No need to write a curly brace. No need of curly braces here. If the number of actions in the particular branching is single, it will be applicable for branching as well as a looping. If you have a single action, even though if you are putting a branch elements, a grouping that is called curly brace, that is not an error. It will allow. Clear? But it will be applicable only for, it will be applicable only for, how to say that, for only one statement. Clear? Yeah, okay. So if more than one statement, the curly brace must be it's a mandatory part. Clear? For example, I'm going to define another one more COUT statement here. If over. So like that, I'm going to define. Surely it makes an error message, misplaced errors. Because more than one action I'm expected to define. Action means not only for output statement, even some calculations, input statement, everything will be called as actions. So here I'm going to group. So here must group by using curly braces. So clear? So now compile, and I'm going to run it. So I'm going to enter my age, and it shows that it is eligible or maybe not eligible. Clear? So just we can check it. Just compile. Yeah, so that is the problem here. It is out. Code has no effect means it will not execute. That is the meaning. So eligible if over. So like that it will execute. Clear? Okay. So then, so this is for two batches. For example, if I want to write the condition is, I want to test it if my age is exactly 18, means above 18 I'm eligible. If exactly 18 means I'm expecting that, waiting for votes. Waiting to apply for a voter ID. For example, I'm just saying like this. Otherwise, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it is not eligible. Then you can say that just to compile it. So here there are three branches. Any one of the branches will execute. If the if block execute, then these two blocks will not be executed. If this condition is false, then it go for the next if. For example, I'm going to show it how the execution will take place here. So it will execute if block. For example, my age is exactly 18. So that the first condition is false. So that go for the next block. So next block, there is a condition checking age value is 18, 18 equal to 18. It is true. So that it executes. Small mistake I did here. I will show it now once again. I'm going to enter 18. So then I'm going to test it. Apply for voting, it executor. Then it will print out. Yeah. So this is called a nested if. So in a nested if, generally, whenever you are going to write if statement, it always must have a condition. Clear? So if you have a multiple, means that even for nested if, this else block is optional. Even though if you're not providing this else block, it will execute. No errors. Here that is not a mandatory, is that you need to define a else block. Clear? So this is the way the branching statement will execute. So some of the branching statement is, one is called if. It is possible for only one condition. So we can go with the nested application, we can use only for if. Then for if else, only for exactly two possible actions. So that one possible action for true and another one is for false action. It is for if-else ladder. For more than two cases possibilities, we can go with if-else ladder. So that here only tell us if this condition is false, so that you can go with the next, so that you can start with else. There is a space between else and if, then followed with the condition true. Then we have to write the action based on this condition. So based on the condition only, we have to define the actions. And that last one, it may be, it means it's not a condition that we need to write a else block, that you have to write n number of blocks based on the number of cases. Clear? Okay. So the next one is called as a nested if statement. So nested if statement is writing one branching instruction inside of another branching instruction. For example, so here I'm going to write a logic for biggest of 3 number. Or maybe is that means here the base condition is the age is less than 0, means always the value minimum condition for age is greater than or equal to 0. Correct? So that I'm going to test it then. So minus 15. So unfortunately I'm entering a minus value. So that I don't say that it is not eligible. It is not a range for age. Correct? Sorry, here I didn't provide an else block so that it don't show that it is not eligible. So now I'm again running and I'm going to give some minus value here. It says that it is not eligible. But according to the general basic thing, the minus 7 is not possible to define the value for age. So what I need to define that this is the age, this logic, this checking age logic is applicable only for if the age value is greater than or equal to 0. That means if the age value is greater than or equal to 1, it's eligible. Correct? So we need to write a one branching statement for this. So if age is greater than or equal to 0, while checking this logic is applicable. Otherwise, it's not a proper input. So like that I'm going to define. And also I'm going to define that, okay, just a minute. Okay, just I'm compiling that. I'm sorry, compiled, and now I'm going to execute. I'm going to give it a minus 1. It shows that it is not a proper input. It is a correct answer. So whenever you're going to define, writing a code, always we need to identify the range for your input. And if the range is beyond that, then you must indicate that this is not a proper range. That is the correct way as a programmer we have to define. Clear? Okay. So here, another one more thing, we know that the maximum age is 120. So that I'm going to define age is less than or equal to 130 is allowed. If I'm going to give my age is 200, it is not a correct way, correct input. So that it is also say that it is not a proper input. So for this case, there are two conditions are there, two relational operators are there. There are two relational operations are there, so that we need to connect with the logical operators. So there are two logical operators is possible, either AND or operator. So here that I need to check that these two conditions need to satisfy, then only I can able to check whether I'm eligible or not. So for that I'm using AND operator to test. If I'm using OR operator, if any one of the condition is true, it will work. For example, I'm going to run this and I'm going to give minus 1. So that first condition is false, but age is less than 130, so that it executed, if block is executed and printed as not eligible. Clear? So that whenever you're going to write a condition, whenever you're going to write a logic, always try to identify the logical operators if you want to connect to two or more relational operations. Okay, and another thing, so now see here, there is a one branching if. Inside of a one branching statement, another branching statement is that it may be if, or maybe a if else, or maybe if else ladder, or maybe a switch, or maybe a ternary operator, whatever may be. Clear? So that we have to define it, so that it is called, so that is called as nested if. Doesn't mean that you have to define if branching statement inside of if. Not necessary. Even if you want, you can define inside of else also. That is on your choice. Clear? And another thing, I told that if this, see here, instead of that I'm going to represent 1. You must know what it is. Either there is a one warning will be displayed. Just I will show it first. I'm going to compile and I am going to show the warning. See then the condition is always true means that I already mentioned that if the condition is true, that particular block will execute. If the condition is false, then that means the negative block of the if will execute. Clear? So that here the condition is false, so that the else blocks are unreachable code. See that it shows that this is called unreachable code. It means that always this statement will execute or clear. So that the remaining this else and else if and else blocks are unreachable code. That means that not possible to execute in any cast, any time. So that it shows that it is an unreachable code. Clear? So from that what you understood that. So always the true is represented by 1 and the false is represented by 0. Just you can check it. Again, there is a condition. Condition is always false, so that the if block statements are unreachable. See that it shows the 14th line is unreachable, so that if statements are unreachable. Unreachable means that it won't execute at any cost of a time. So whenever you're going to write a time, don't go with a fixed condition. So always try to go with the testing some other factor, and based on that, the corresponding action need to be takes place. So this is called if else. If else, nested if. Clear? Okay, so now you have some clear idea about if else if ladder. Next, I will go with another one more, that is called switch case. Actually, switch case is a little bit different from if else. Actually, it is a replacement of if else if ladder. Normally, in if else if ladder, we are writing a condition by using any relational operator. But in case of switch case statement, it execute only equal operator. Equal relational expression will execute. Okay, let us take a simple example here. I'm going to say that selection. Okay, I'm going to hit selection. And I'm going to change the variable in selection. It's a meaningful purpose. I'm going to change switch. I'm going to pass my selection case. Normally switch means it always have a n number of cases. We have to define cases. And we have to define any actions inside of every cases. Clear? So I'm saying I am in case 1. You have to define the n number of any statement. It may be a printer statement, print statement, cout statement, or cin statement, some expressions, some kind of looping, branching, everything will be applicable here. Clear? And every cases must be terminated with break. So I'm going to execute cout and I'm going to say I am in case 2. So unfortunately, I forgot to put a case for a break for a case statement. It won't make any error message. Case 3. So I'm going to close it. So that is some characteristics we have for the switch case. Always the name, the data type of this selection variable must be integer or maybe a character, not a character. So it's a character variable. And this case number must be an identical. The case number must be an identical. You can't provide the same case number for more than one cases, and every cases have a terminate with a break. Otherwise, the remaining cases will be executed. For example, I'm going to compile this. No error. Then I'm going to run this program. I'm going to enter something 4. So no, it must be enter up to 3. I'm going to enter 1 so that I'm in a case 1. Okay, we will show that with the help of execution procedures while main. So just read some input. I'm going to say input is 1. So here the 1 will be passed. So now the case 1, it means that 1 equal to 1. That is SEL equal to 1. That is an equivalent if else statement for this. So it will be tester. Then the I am in case 1 will be executed. Once it reaches the break, so automatically it will come out of the switch case. Yeah. Okay. In case. So always it means that the testing is if selection equal to 1, then this case 1 will execute. Else if, because its if is already there, so selection equal to 2, this statement will execute. Then else if selection equal to 3, this case will be executed. Okay. So now I'm going to run this. By tracing. So I'm going to give my input as 2. So automatically the first one will test it for case 1, so that if selection 1 is not equal, so that it go for case 2. The case 2 is matched, so that it execute case 2. So I told that if you want to come out of the corresponding switch case, you must have either break or it must have an end of the switch. There is only two possible way we have come out of the switch case. Clear? Even switch case also will be executed only once. Clear? But here I forgot to put a break statement for the case, so that automatically it will execute the next cases also, because we didn't put a case. So switch cases will be executed until there is a break. For example, if you are putting a break here, I'm putting a break here, then I'm trying to execute. I'm trying to execute the program, and my case statement is 2. Then I'm going to, the case 2 will execute all. Then it reaches the break, then it come out of the loop. Clear? So this is the way it will work. So in case, if you forget to put a break statement here, the remaining cases will execute. Okay. In case I'm going to run it, and I'm going to run input is 4. The 4 cases is not here, so that it won't execute anything. So for that we have to use a default case, so that you can say that your option is wrong. So if you are normally try to use a break statement, so normally if you go for any competitive examination, they will avoid to use a break and ask you to output, so that in this case you are going to execute all the cases until reach a break, or maybe until you can reach the end. So I'm going to run this a program, so that the default will be executed. So your option is wrong. So like that it will show. But here the default statement is optional, and you have to place this default statement at anywhere of your switch case. For example, I am going to give us again 1. It shows the error message as duplicate case. Clear? It means that already there is a case 1 exists. If you want, not necessary to be in order, you can give any number. So that if you want to execute, the statement, so it must be executed. Means if you want to execute the statement, you have to give a correct number. If I give a 10, the 10th case will be executed. But I didn't have a break statement for here, so that it execute for third cases also. See the output. I am in case 2, I am in case 3. Both statement executed, but the default case won't execute, because after case 3 I have a break. Clear? And the location of the default statement is anywhere. You have to define either maybe any in between or anywhere. So I'm going to define default. So even if you are defining a break, I mean, it's a default statement in between cases, or maybe a top of the cases other than end, please try to give a break statement. And whenever you're going to use a break, I mean, switch cases, please to give a break. Clear? Okay. So this is, I mean, here some of the characteristics, it may be an integer or maybe a character. For example, if I'm going to give a character, so if I'm going to give it a choice number A like this, it must be represented in single quotes, not in double quotes. Double quotes will not work. I will show it. So I'm going to compile. No error. I'm going to run. So I'm going to give input A, so that the case 1 will be executed. Here in this case, you can't give A 1. If you are giving a 1, it won't execute. Your option is wrong. So that we have to match with a character, so that our input must be a character. Clear? Instead of that, I'm trying to use a double quotes. See that there is an error will be generated. The constant expression is required. It means that it must have a number. So that number means that number, you know that it is ASCII value. So that in this case, maybe we can use ASCII number also. Instead of that, I'm going to use character. I'm going to integer, but I forgot to change the case. It will work. So we know that for small a, the ASCII value is 97. If I'm giving a 97, so that 97 equal to 97, because for small a, the ASCII value is 97. So while processing the character, the ASCII value will plays the major role. So by always testing with the ASCII value, so the case 1 will execute. So from this word you understand that if you are using a switch cases, always that the expression must be as integer or maybe a character, even it won't work for a float. It won't work for a float. See that, just to compile this. Which selection expression must be an integer type or maybe a character. That is integral type means that it must be an integer or maybe a character, because for character it always check by using ASCII value. So that always the expression for this switch case must be either character or maybe a integer only. And so that means the duplicate cannot exist. We have defined only one case at a time. Means only one cases. The case number must be duplicate. Here case is a keyword, and every cases may terminate with a break. If you are forgot to put a break, then the remaining cases continually it will execute a break. Other cases also until it reaches a break, or maybe until it reaches the end of the switch statement. So maybe the default case is also possible. If any cases if they are not matched, then it will the default case is execute, and default can be placed at anywhere. Not only for the aid, you can define it either inside middle or maybe a stand. That is only what as a programmer choice. Okay. So the next one is another one branching statement is there, that is called conditional operator. I want to define what is a conditional operator. So just I'm going to define, actually the conditional operator is called ternary operator. So ternary operator replacement of if else. For example, I'm going to get the same in logic for age and saying if age is greater than or equal to 18, I'm going to say I'm eligible. So here I have only one action, so no problem. So that the curly brace is optional. It's again, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to compile, and I'm going to run this a program. Sorry, I forgot to get an input. I'm going to enter my age is 18, so I am eligible. So here, that means here that always we have to use conditional operator. If the number of actions for your branching statement is 1, normally it is a replacement of if else. So if the number of actions for this if and else is a single, then we can replace by this action by ternary operator. So the syntax for the ternary operator is condition you have to express within parentheses, then followed by the question mark. Here, then true actions. That is, if the condition is true, what is the action? Then followed by what is the action? That is called fallback action. And finally, must terminate with semicolon. If I have only one action. So here, this cases I have exactly 2 cases, and we have each and every case must have a single action, so that I can replace this if else by ternary operator. Here the condition is A. Here no need to write if and all 18. Then followed with the ternary operator. And my action is, the true action is I am eligible. Here you should not use semicolon here. Then separated by colon. The true and false actions are separated by colon, and finally it terminated with the semicolon. Now I'm going to compile this. I'm going to execute now. So I'm going to say 18. I'm eligible. I'm going to run for another cases. I'm going to say 12. I'm not eligible. So by use, means the ternary operator is the replacement of if else, so that the number of actions inside of if and else block must have a single action. Then you can go with ternary operator. So normally, please try to remember that if more than one action in any one of the case, you can't go with the ternary operator. Okay, so that's all about branching statements in programming language. So in the next video, I am going to explain the concept of looping. Thank you.